It is March 16th, 2017. This is the Watchman News, and I'm Mike Callahan. Welcome to the third hour today, where we kind of have for open discussion and smacking on my software. Wow, I can't believe it's acting up like that. I might have to go back to the old software. Let's see here. Okay. All right, so you guys got any kind of topic or know any updates on anything? I will do what I can to find out. I've got a hangnail. I don't know if that'll make news or not, but it'd probably kill me. Hangnails are tragic. Ah, Bundy's. Okay, let me see if Valley Forge by chance has anything. And we'll check there first. They do an awesome job of keeping up on that. I am showing that let's see. 23 hours ago. So apparently there was one last night, and apparently there was just one put out an hour ago. So I'm going to do the one that was put out 23 hours ago because we didn't cover that. I didn't see that. And I'm going to do that one first, and then we'll go to the one that was just put out an hour ago. So this is the channel is the Valley Forge Network. And this one's titled Nevada Bundy Trial, Wednesday, Andrea Parker Update, March 15th, 2017.
Just 1 second and we'll go live. Flip that around. There we go. Yeah, I noticed. Skipper can handle it. Those guys can handle it.
Does he know?
Funny.
We got a few watchers.
All right, are we ready?
Just good.
Yeah, you're live.
You're rolling.
Okay, so we started out today. We still had the FBI agent. Let's see what his name is. Mark Saylor on the stand. We started out the morning without the jury. They wanted to play more of the video between Cliven, where he gives Engel the microphone and Engel misrepresents what Cliven said. They're not going to allow it. Then they tried to then they talked about 443 and Carol Bundy is a co-conspirator, not an unindicted co-conspirator. In court, she is called a co-conspirator. They're talking about pictures in a Dropbox of Shannon Bushman and entered email from MOA. This is all the stuff that they were fumbling with yesterday. They got their stuff together and were able to get it all in this morning. And then no further questions asked, and they move into cross-examination. Perez gets up and he has him re-explain a lot of the Facebook stuff. Go back through it. He actually did some damaging things in the cross, talking about asking a legal stance. Any other time that anyone has asked a question to a law enforcement officer or anyone that has a legal, comes to a legal definition, she won't allow it. She won't allow the Constitution in because it gives a legal definition. She won't allow anything. But Perez asked this legal question to this agent, and his response was his presence with a weapon was disrupting the agents in this event. And then objections from our defense, and they say it goes to legal standing, and she said, but it was a legal question and allows it. So here we have this judge who has not allowed any legal questions to law enforcement officers to happen, but she's going to allow Perez to do it just because the guy's answer to the question was for the prosecution. This agent was actually watching video from Vegas on the 12th. So he was in Vegas on the 12th. He was watching the aerial footage and Pete Santilli's live feed. Then they were brought up about, because he was with, what is her name? Maybe that was later. Then they're also talking about fake profiles and alias, and if Ricky ever had an alias, and if the FBI could see a person's Facebook posts, and would they use that to look into another person? And that was a yes. Tomasi, Stephen Stewart did not know Ricky Loveland. Yeah. Jess goes up and asks if Eric, because this is the agent that was at the arrest of Eric Parker, he asked if Eric went cooperatively. In the van, he was transported. The interview was recorded. He spoke to you with no animosity. Talked about his wife and kids. Told you why he came down. Told you why he did what he did at Bunkerville. He said the interview you took was 2.5 hours long, and you played less than 1% of that interview. Then the judge and then he's no more questions, goes and sits down, and the judge yells at him because what he's leaving is very misleading for the jury, and so she reprimands him in front of the jury, saying that what he's leading to is wrong and why they won't play the video. Then Engel goes up and asks if prior to the 12th they were investigating these groups and these individuals. He asked about Robin Kirkham and if the guy was with Robert Kirkham, which yes he was. He asked if Robert Kirkham had opened aliases, Facebook accounts, and that was yes. And then he was talking about how if he would know what her alias was. And at first he said he didn't know, but then he said that he did know that it wasn't any of these other emails, other accounts that they're bringing up with this Facebook footage. He was asked if Mark Kessler is an FBI agent, and the answer was no. He asked if he played a video that was part of a larger video. It was objected and sustained upon, and he had to move on. Then at the very end, he made a comment that Ryan Payne is Ryan Payne is an exaggerating blowhard, and that was objected to, and he went and sat down. Jack got up, talked about how many millions of people are on the internet every day, and talked about people using the internet to commit crimes and hackers, and how maybe somebody else could be posting from a Facebook post. This FBI agent skirts around every question, answers questions with statements, not answers to the question. I mean, this guy was well trained. They had a hard time in cross. Leventhal gets up and he said, "You never saw Drexler on his friends list." He makes him read the MOA website page again and makes him note member statements did not affect the group, and if a member made a statement, it's not representation of the entire group, but the person that is making that statement. Then they show Ryan Payne do the thumbs up and asked if he knew if anyone asked him how his breakfast was, or if talking about the police and their statement about the BLM leaving. And he skirted around those questions, but I think it was obvious to the jury. Then he asked if Rick Lake was a government informant or Mark Kessler was a government informant, and both were no.
Mark Kessler is.
To his knowledge, not to his knowledge. So it wasn't just no, it was no, not to my knowledge. So he's trying to play around this. He was aware that she went undercover, but he doesn't know what her screen name was. And then he was asked how would he know if her fake screen name was in any of these Facebook posts, and I think it was objected to with relevance and moved on. Then we bring in another special agent, Timothy Deppner, from Oklahoma, and he brings in evidence. They brought in evidence today. Ricky Loveland's booking photos. So a picture of him and a picture of his tattoos. And they say this is relevant somehow. This guy was there when they booked him. Then they ask him to identify Ricky Loveland in the courtroom, and he does not identify Ricky Loveland. He says a man in a gray suit, and then they immediately moved on from that witness. Nobody had any questions, but I really don't see how someone's booking photos have anything to do with their case.
Trying to stereotype.
Yeah, that's pretty much just trying to get, derogatory evidence in for the jury to see. Then they brought in Special Agent Joseph.
Oh,
wow.
Holy.
Almost an accident
Moving
there.
on.
And he is
Sorry
another
about that.
agent that is open source intelligence. He's looking on the internet for anything that pertains to Bundy Ranch. Here, they are entering photos and video that this guy finds on the internet. He's openly searching militia, Bundy Ranch, standoff, gunmen. He's finding news articles, people's videos, and they're bringing it in. These photos.
So they're trying to bring in new evidence?
They're bringing in new evidence from this FBI agent, photos that he did not take and he does not know who took, no idea of the time,
Or
and there's
context
or
or
the
anything.
context, or if it's edited, or if it's the original copy, all of this. And so they bring this FBI agent in and they enter all of these photos. I don't understand how you can bring in a person who picks up photos off the internet and can attest to their time, date, and authenticity of those pictures. There was a huge fight about that, but it was overruled. Then they're talking about a Todd Engel video, and that if he was familiar with the voice and if he knows the authenticity of the page, he, in his wording, he said assumes. And so that put a big stop to a lot of that coming in at this time. They went through it, they laid foundation, but it was not allowed to be entered to the jury. They said they're going to bring someone else in to authenticate it late, and that's the audio. So then we go into cross-examination. Tomasi goes up and says, can you tell me what time this picture was taken? And he brings up another picture and says, the guy says not by the second. He's using like these keywords, by the second. Like he can tell by the minute, but not by the second, which is not true. And then he brings up another picture and he's like, well, you can tell that was taken before. And he's like, well, how can you tell that was taken before? And he says, well, the crowd was back and then the crowd goes forward. And Tomasi says, well, and then the crowd comes back. Well, not in that formation. They're arguing. And he says, well, can you, no. Then Jackson goes up and asks about keywords they used during the Google search and how long he focused on militia. And it was come out somewhere around 100 hours in the first 3 weeks. And then how many times he met with the U.S. Attorney's Office, and that was 8 times with the U.S. Attorney's Office since the Bundy Ranch. 3 to 4 times a few years ago, 2 times last year, and 2 times last week. Just got up and said, he saw a lot of footage of this individual being Eric with what he was wearing, and that they were showing him footage. And he states that numerous pictures of the man with the plaid shirt. He was asked if he could identify him from the aerial footage that he sees. The guy says yes. We all know, we've seen that aerial footage. You can't identify anyone on that aerial footage. This gentleman says yes. He can attest to where he was on the bridge, even though he wasn't there himself, and he's doing it by photo only. He can attest to the fact that they were on the bridge in that position for so long, based on aerial footage, which we all saw in the courtroom, and it's further away you can't tell. You can barely tell up cars, and they're saying that you can identify people. Leventhal gets up, and he enters 5046. It's a screenshot of this FBI agent's computer screen when he's collecting information. They get him to authenticate it. Yes, it is his screen. They pull it to the bottom and they bring up that he has all these different windows open. One of them is Roxio Creator, and the other one is, I can't pronounce it. It's another Photoshop. And he says, He says he has not received any formal training, so he cannot tell you if you can take things away or put things in with these applications that they have. And then they bring up other photos. He said he didn't take the photo, or there was an objection because he didn't take the photo, so he can't tell if there's something missing or added. And Leventhal says he hasn't taken any of these photos. Why should we even be here? Why should any of these photos even be entered? Because he hasn't taken any of this. He can't attest to anything. So the government redirect, he says, have you ever edited any of these photos? He said he added arrows, he did some things here and there. Leventhal gets back up and he says, do you know if any person who took any of these photos edited them? Do you know if the photos were edited before you got them? Guy couldn't answer that. And so that was him. Then we enter Special Agent Adam Nixon. He was also an open source investigator, and then later got the subpoena for Greg Burleson's Facebook account. Also, Carol Bundy and Ammon Bundy, I believe, is this agents. We start to go into it. They put the first piece of evidence up there. There was an immediate objection, and they let the jury out. Now we're going into Greg Burleson's Facebook. Everything that Greg Burleson that they've got in there on his Facebook that they're trying to put in is after the 12th. It's all racist. It's all hate-filled. It's saying things like, I'm the guy that had... and so they're going through without the jury line by line, and I left halfway through because she wasn't going to admit anything extra. They're arguing that this is defamatory towards the other people in the courtroom. She's not going to put it in just towards Greg Burleson. It goes towards the conspiracy for everyone, which that doesn't make any sense to me. It's his own statements on Facebook after that. I guess he makes a couple statements about they still need boots on the ground in at the Bundy Ranch, and that's how it goes to the conspiracy, the continued conspiracy. And so they were going through that, and that's what we get to come to tomorrow. It's going to be a long and grueling day if we're going to be going through Greg Burleson's Facebook.
All right, Andrea, thank you.
Thank you.
And what time's court tomorrow?
8:30 again tomorrow. I believe we're not going to do 8 anymore. We're going to do 8:30 from now on.
All righty. We'll talk to you all tomorrow.
Good night, America. Stop.
All righty. Next up, I'll do the one that was released today. This is again Valley Forge Network. This video is titled "Nevada Bundy Trial Thursday. Government Spins Facebook." I think there's more, but I can't see it. Government spins Facebook, shares, likes, tags, conspiracy.
So we started off our day with a prayer down here, and I think it really helped. We went into Special Agent Nixon was still in direct examination. He is the agent investigating the Arizona area, the Arizona militias, and Greg Burleson. We start with Greg's Facebook post. And in one of his Facebook posts, he says to bring gas masks and prepare for attack dogs. He tells people to bring hot dogs and mace. There's a portion in there where they're showing these Facebook things that they've gotten, and they can see deleted messages and posts. So if you ever write something and delete it right away, it doesn't matter if it's there once, it's there always. This is really an eye-opener for Facebook and anyone's communication, because private messages, people's comments on your post, they're all being brought up as evidence inside the courtroom. And I'm not sure enough people understand exactly what that means and exactly the consequences and the outcome of this court case is going to do for every American. This is not just going to affect the 6 upstairs. This affects everyone. And so I think, sharing that information and look back on yourself and look back at your post and pull one out of context and see how you know, somebody would respond to that. Because that's exactly what's going on upstairs. They've got a bunch of different photos people tagged Greg in. Those are being brought up. If you have people tagging you on stuff, they brought up the fact that you can untag yourself, but people haven't chosen to do so. There was a picture that they brought up, and it was a picture of the Cowboys, and there is one white horse without a rider. Not sure why they're bringing that up, but I thought that was interesting.
That wasn't where the body's gone.
Okay, so then there's a picture of Greg in the bushes. There's another picture of Greg on one of the embankments under the bridge. He's got another gentleman sitting next to him. The guy identifies Greg in the courtroom. There was a comment where Greg is making a warning to the government post. That was not taken well by the jury at all, and they all started writing. A little bit after that, though, many of the jurors seemed bored. There was another post that he made where he was calling the Metros pussy cock-sucking bitches. And I'm sorry, but the jury did not.
I couldn't hear you.
Yeah. The jury didn't seem to like that. He was also saying he was one of the men that pointed his gun at the Metro and says that they were pointing their weapons at men, women, and children. I think the jury took some of that as, you know, the BLM were pointing their weapons at men, women, and children, but later on, he has a post where he says, if you arrest even one militia member, we will burn you to the ground, including your wives and children. The jury did not take well to that as well. They were all writing things down, so that was another one that was kind of iffy. He refers in one of his posts to people still needed at the ranch to build a garrison. They brought up what a garrison means. It's like an army. There was a lot of objections without the jury in the room yesterday, so that they don't see the objections to all these arguments today. That was the whole thing. They let the jury leave early yesterday, had all the objections go on at the end of the day, so that way today, as they're entering this stuff, the jury's not seeing all of these objections. So there was a few times that people stood up and did an extra here and there, but it's not their opinion. Then there's one of his posts where he talks about protesting is for pussies and refers to the Bundy Ranch as not a protest. This same individual also has Ammon Bundy's Facebook page search warrant, and they've got pictures coming in from that is tagged in. Ammon Bundy's tagged in. It doesn't even say that some of them are from Ammon Bundy. Another thing I want to point out here is that every picture you upload on Facebook from your phone, it shows exactly what phone, what locations and stuff that you're uploading those pictures from. So if you upload a picture and you tag someone in it, it's like it knows whose phone they uploaded it from, what time, where they were, all of that information. That's another thing to be aware of. If you take pictures with a camera and then upload it to your computer, it doesn't do that. We've seen pictures both ways, and they actually go through the documentation underneath the pictures, and that's all pertinent information. Then this person goes into, because this person is also investigating the Arizona State Militia, so they go into a lot of Jason Woods and Micah McGuire. They identify them, they show them on the encampments, they show them in front of the stage. They mention AR-style assault rifles many times in court today. This FBI agent, what is he holding? Well, an AR-style assault rifle. And so that is brought up many times. Then we go into cross-examination. We've got Jackson, and he goes up and asks when he became connected with the investigation into the Bundy Ranch. And he says, and there's a lot of objections to when exactly he's talking about. He wants to go before the Bundy Ranch. They won't really allow him. So he says a few days prior to the 12th. He was to focus on militia extremism. He also says he can only investigate extremism, not just militia. He was only one part of his team that was investigating this. The prosecution is investigating to questions about how many were in his team and who his boss was. We did not find out who his boss was. He did not write any reports about the event before it happened, but it was brought out that he did pass on information that he knew lots of people who he was previously investigating were gathering together at the ranch. I think this has to do with the Arizona State Militia. But Greg was not a member of the Arizona State Militia at that time. He was a member of a one-man militia. And they brought up a lot of things about Greg's Facebook, but only 2 of them for prior to the 12th. So they went through a lot of Greg's posts, but most of them were after the 12th. And then he was asked if law enforcement had a number of informants, civilians, working for law enforcement. There was a lot of objections to this. They had to narrow it down from he tried citizens, he tried people, public. He had to eventually get non-law enforcement personnel. And yes, they had informants. Did they have informants on the internet? Yes. Did they post on Greg's Facebook account? He says he does not know. Because they're reading not just Greg's posts, but people's comments and people's posts to Greg. So they're bringing all of that up, and then they're saying, well, did you have informants that were trying to egg this information out? Well, he doesn't know. And then he says, well, it's possible, yes, I guess so, that informants could be posting to his account. Then it was brought up that people act or post differently when they are under stress. They can say things that they don't mean or that they wish at a later time that they didn't. Lots of objections, and then the judge gets upset with the prosecution because the prosecution is objecting so much that the person can't answer even though it's overrun.
Everybody had a gun.
So then Leventhal gets up and brings up the fact that Drexler was never involved with the Arizona State Militia or their nickname. And then brings up Mark Kessler again. He knows the name, but he does not know if he is an informant. He does find out that this gentleman was an informant handler during this investigation, and that there were other agents that were informant handlers. What?
Did they explain what an informant handler is exactly?
No, so they should probably go into that. They're still in cross-examination, I believe. But, or no, they brought in another person, but they can do that later too. He was aware that other informants with other handlers were around, and that was the end of cross-examination. Then the government calls FBI Sarah Draper from Boise, Idaho. This is the lady that is involved with the Idaho people. She's also the lady that served the search warrant in our house. She had searched Eric's publicly available information on Facebook for his account, for Scott Drexler's account, for Stephen Stewart's account. We only got into Eric Parker's account upstairs before lunch. What they're doing with Eric Parker's Facebook account is they are showing that he shared news articles. So this is another part of this huge information. This is part of the war. If you share a news article, you are part of a conspiracy to share information. So welcome to communist China, because they, this is part of their controlling the narrative. If somebody writes a news article and you share it, and that's against what they're putting out there, then you're part of a conspiracy is what they're trying to push upstairs. I can tell you that the jury seemed to respond well to Eric's posts. They weren't writing for a lot of the time. It shows that he shared a post and did not make a comment on it. So it was just something that he read and shared. But they were able to read the title of these posts. One of them was, got a neighbor in trouble in Nevada. What are you going to do when shots are fired? That was one of his actual texts. He does make that with a link. The link was Bundy Ranch, youth feds going after last rancher standing. Another one, government assault, government terrorist attack at Bundy Ranch. Another one, citizens of the U.S. states fought the toughest battle in the army in the world in 1776, and we can do it again. Then he posts an an article to a link that talks about fracking and the reason that they want the land from the Bundy Ranch. At that point, you see, and he didn't write any, he said, that's it, that's his text, that's it, and it shows the fracking information. And I saw a lot of the jury members writing stuff down now, and I'm thinking, maybe they disagree with fracking as well. Maybe, you know, they're trying to lay that there's other reasons that they wanted this land. Then he does a YouTube video, wall post, somebody else does a wall post to him. Pretty much, at the end of it, he makes a post. And this is on the 12th at 3 p.m. We have cows, happy cows, free cows, raised in the open range and not in a cage. Again, you see some of the jury people writing this down. Do you think this is bad for us? No, it goes to show that he's out there, he cares about animal welfare, he cares about a lot of things, and it's not all just about taking over the government and going to forcefully do something. No further search warrant was done on his account after the July 2014. They did not bring up any personal messages or any other posts from his account. So in my eyes, nothing from his account was damning, and I think the jury took well to a lot of his news articles that he shared and some of the few comments that he did post. We go back in with Sarah still on the stand, and she's going to go into Stephen Stewart's Facebook post next, and then O. Scott Drexler's Facebook post after that. I'll give you more updates later.
So now the prosecution's talking about resting on Tuesday.
On the 20th, I believe, yes. So.
All right, thank you, Andrea.
Absolutely.
The court's probably going to end sometime in April.
I wasn't in there when that's what they said this morning, I guess. That it is going into April.
Alrighty. I see Tim Pool is headed to Paris, France. Apparently, there's a couple incidents that set in place a terror warning. So he's en route there now. Pretty interesting stuff. His reporting from Sweden, and I appreciate honest reporting. I really do. I think he went there and expected much of what I expected, and I think he found himself corrected, and which I found myself corrected. I guess I don't know what's going on there. It was real odd because for like the first 2 days that he was in Sweden, you know, pretty much everybody he came across was, you know, like, there's not a problem here. That, you know, look, there's nothing. And then, like day 3 or whatever, things got pretty crazy. And he was kind of more or less ran out of one place and continued to get crazy, so. Smitty. Yeah, I mean, pretty crazy stuff. So, refreshed. I didn't see anything more like an end of day report. I don't see yet. I'm assuming that video didn't say anything that you were hoping, huh, Smitty? Well, you know, I kind of expected that they wouldn't find anything, that it would, that all of it would just be stories. It's so hard to tell anymore, you know? I mean, and when you've got quote-unquote news sources like we have in this country. You know, all you can do is take the headline and research it yourself, see what you can find out. And you know, it's hard to say, because even in Sweden, on that particular incident, even in Sweden, they had people saying things both ways. You know, people on YouTube, people all over the place saying things both ways. You know, nothing's going on here, and the terror is insane. The refugees are you know, wreaking havoc, and you know, you saw both things being reported absolutely everywhere. I just yeah, fake news. Especially CNN. Now, they're all fake news, every last one of them. That's what's so sad. That's, you know, I do trust Tim Pool. For the most part. I do think that at some point he sold out, namely when he worked for Vice News. But you know, for the most part, like him going over there and covering Sweden, I trust what he reported. I do. I have no problem trusting what he reported. There are some things I might be a little skeptical about, but that's not one of them. If he were to cover something here in the U.S., like what happened out in Oregon, or what happened in Nevada, I wouldn't stop at what his reporting was. I'll put it that way. I would dig deeper. Yeah, well, I'm not surprised that Alex Jones badmouthed Tim Pool. Not surprised a bit. Tim does a pretty good job. He is an excellent reporter. He really is. God, that guy. I remember back during Occupy Wall Street. He was the mainstream that I watched when he was live. I was on his stream. It didn't matter who else was live. He just did such an awesome job. And he did so from a true reporter's perspective, you know. If he saw a protester doing something bad, he would report it. He was threatened on many occasions for it. You know, and on the same note, if he saw the police doing something bad, he'd report it. He was there to report what he saw. And I have an extreme level of respect for that. I think the feds have hushed everybody. You know, anybody that actually makes it anywhere, I think the feds, I think they shut them up. Which shows me I have to work harder, because they haven't shut me up yet. I mean, I've seen it. I think the same happened to Alex Jones. I really do. I think Alex was really on the ball. I think Alex was... I think he was as real as it gets. And back when he did America Destroyed by Design, I think that's probably what even got him approached, his first documentary, because, my goodness, what he revealed in that one documentary alone, unbelievable. And he goes and he proves it. He absolutely proves it beyond a shadow of a doubt. And to this day, I try to tell people about the things that he showed in that documentary. And people look at me like I'm a freaking toad or something. They, you know, try and tell people that Bill Clinton sold our national parks to United Nations. And they're like, what? And right there's a plaque at every one of them. It's crazy. They kind of hid the plaques. He shows that. But kind of crazy. I mean, of course, they have it under some title or name that makes it sound all justified and for the betterment of the national park. But I guess it might be good to know that we could go to the Grand Canyon and pee over the side of the cliff to know we're peeing on the United Nations. But other than that, I don't think it's a good idea. Yeah, I do. I like Gary Franchi. I really like Gary Franchi. My issue with him is he's a Trump puppet. And, pretty much everything he reports on now is politics. That's pretty much all he covers. And I used to exclusively watch his stuff and play his stuff on the show because he was covering what was going on militarily around the world. And he did such an awesome job of it. And now you can't get him from being a trumpet. I mean, that's all he does. He does a great job. I'm not, by no means am I bashing the guy. Everybody's got their place. Everybody's got their thing. Mine just doesn't happen to be with Trump. I mean, not that I hate the guy. Again, I've got a job here, and the job that I have here is to tell you what I find out. It's not to persuade you to feel any certain way or to think a certain way, or that's not what I'm here to do. And I have my opinions, and I try to remember to say, okay, this is my opinion. I try to put it in perspective. The 1 in 700 or 7.5 billion people on the planet, and I'm seriously trying to put it in perspective because I think a lot of people think too highly of their opinions, and we got to get away from that. We have to understand that there's like other people too. You can walk out on that glass thing. That would be like walking that glass bridge in China or Japan. I think it's China. I think it's closed. That place is closed down right now, though, because I think somebody like broke it or cracked it or something. But yeah, I don't think I would. No, thank you. I'll strap myself in an ultralight airplane and I'll go flying, but you know what? That's my thing, though, Smitty. With that's my thing with Fox News. They went after the sexual attraction route to do news. They hired a bunch of bimbos. I'll say it, and I haven't seen any of them that's real bright, in my opinion. Just my opinion. All they do is they, look good and read a script, and that's what their job is. And that's not, in my opinion, what news is supposed to be. So, you've got MSNBC and CNN that try and skew things as much as they can in the favor of the puppet masters. And, then you got Fox, which still works for the puppet masters, although they, just like I call Alex Jones, controlled opposition. And they lure people in with sexy women. I mean, it's crazy. My big issue is all the opinion, and I know that's an opinion, but the thing of it is, a lot of people in news are so wrapped up in themselves, and this includes Alex Jones and, a lot of them, It's not about what I think. I'll give you my thoughts on something, but I don't expect you to abide by it. I'll give you insight if I have any. I'll try to, reach out to the future a little bit with the things I'm seeing happening now and the ways I see things positioning, what I feel is going to happen in the short term. But I'm not going to sit here and tell you that, I think Melania is an awesome first lady because of the shoes she wears. You know what I mean? To me, that type of stuff is absurd. Exactly, and that's what I try to do. I try to bring, Smitty, I really try to bring a free thinking type of broadcast, I will, I will, like I said, I will put my 2 cents out there, but, that's not to guide people into what to think. It's just, just what I see happening or reasons I see behind things or, I've been around a little bit, maybe not as long as what you have, but, um, been around long enough to have learned a few lessons. Of course, I don't know them all. I'll never know them all. That reminds me, going back to Blue October, we're both really excited about it. So yesterday, and I'm not going to play it because I'm not going to get spanked again. So yesterday, somebody had posted a video, or maybe it was today. I don't remember, but I listened to it, and it's just most incredible song. It's not on an album yet. This was just a live recording from a concert, and not a concert like Blue October, but Justin goes when the whole band's not touring. Justin and the lead guitarist go and they do something they call the open book tour, which is just the two of them. And Justin has been at a few of the locations that he's been. He's been singing one of the new songs that'll be on an upcoming CD, or at least I hope will be on an upcoming CD. My God, is it good. And it talks a lot about how learning lessons and understanding there's still lessons to be learned, and just a really good song. no, no, I haven't been around as long as you. I'm sure you probably learned a few more lessons than I have. Now don't make me sing. I love that song, by the way. That was an awesome song. Used to love to play it. There was a guy that I was best friends with at one time, and we played together, played guitar together, just me and him. It wasn't like a band or nothing. We both played guitar, and he was pretty good at singing. And the tunes that we played, along with Southern Cross, and my gosh, there's a number of songs that we played. No, that's for you, not me. I would never. There ain't nothing that would get me up there on that high steel. No, thank you. I'll fly over it in an ultralight while I'm shaking. It's like walking on a sidewalk. Yeah, yeah. With just a little bit of added fear. Just a smidge. Yes. Gonna refresh real quick just to make sure I don't catch a evening update. Or that I don't miss it, actually. Nope, not as of yet. Yeah, I guess it would be okay if I drank a bottle of Jameson. Probably wouldn't care about being up there. There is ain't no way. I just I get vertigo just watching TV when you got to see a helicopter or something. Well, a helicopter's the one filming it, flying over like skyscrapers and stuff, pointed down. Yeah, that even gets me. Yeah, I have an uncle that did that kind of work. He was a supervisor. That I know that the company he worked for did bridges. I think I remember bridges. I don't know if they did buildings too, or I know like the Metro Link and stuff in St. Louis. I know that he was involved with that project. I'm sure some of the other bridges and stuff over there. I could take a quick look and see if there is anything added to the story that happened here locally. I do show an update 59 minutes ago. I may have caught that one though already. Nevertheless, I can give it a read. Body found in Silver Lake identified as Christy Campbell. Body of a woman found in Silver Lake Thursday identified as Christy Campbell, 32. Police say a car she was in was spotted driving into Silver Lake in Madison County around 5:30 a.m. A 3-month-old boy was found inside the submerging car and was saved by a paramedic. He is expected to be okay. Campbell's body was found feet away around 11:30 a.m. Police say they also found her ID inside the car, which indicated she resided at a home on Dogwood Lane in Glen Carbon, where there had been a fatal house fire. 6 children were inside the home at the time and got out safely. Another person was found dead inside the home, but has not been identified. Police believe in total 7 children resided at the home on Dogwood Lane. The 7th child was inside the car that was submerged in Silver Lake. So, pretty much everything I had covered earlier. I know when her name first came out earlier, I did a quick Facebook search and found her Facebook profile. So, I'm gonna take another peek too. I don't know if I'm pretty sure that's the same one, even though the name is spelled. I think they misspelled her name, as in the news. No, they would never get anything wrong. Yep. I think the news misspelled her name. There's no H in the name. I don't see anybody posting on her wall, which is usually common. Usually you'll catch a few public posts, if not the majority, anybody posting. But I'm really confident I'm looking at the right profile here. A shame. Let's see. Working on getting back over there. Oh, yeah. I seen that. What? Yeah, that video was pretty crazy of that bank robber. I couldn't tell if he got hit with the first shot or not. You know, obviously he did with shots taken after. Kind of looked like he might have missed him the first time. And I don't really understand what the guy's thought process was when he kept trying to shoot. But there again, I'm not in the position. I'm looking at a video, but you know, he was kind of at a tactical disadvantage after the security guard or police officer, I don't know which one it was, but after he fired the first round, he kind of dove up right against the teller podium or whatever you want to call that, the desk, and pretty much at that point it was done, you know, because if he tried to get back out or in any way exposed himself, he would have been shot. Well, especially considering that he kept shooting. If he wanted to live, he should have dropped the gun. Okay, second through fifth shot got him. So in that particular case, it wasn't a general rule. It's the first shot that counts, huh? Second through fifth did a pretty good job. It's crazy. It's sad. I mean, it's hard to say. Don't know any of the circumstances or anything like that. You know why the guy was in there. It's sad though, because some of these things are happening because people are trying to feed their families. You know, of course, other times, you know, it's because somebody's trying to feed a drug addiction. But it's wrong either way. You know, there's no ways about it. It's wrong either way, but right. But I mean, if he wanted to continue to live after he walked in the building acting like he was in the Wild West, he should have dropped his gun and slowly put his hands up above the counter and said, "Okay, I'm an idiot. I didn't realize there'd be somebody in here armed." Maybe give an apology, write an apology letter or something. It was his fourth armed robbery. Well, I don't know about his fourth, but it was definitely his last. That was crazy. That was crazy. Alrighty, folks. Well, it is that time. I am going to get off of here and get these uploaded and get the links all put in and all that goodness. And we won't talk to you tomorrow. We'll talk to you Monday. However, do expect a live stream or two here on YouTube from the show tomorrow night. So won't be a normal show tomorrow night. On for maybe a couple tunes or maybe a minute while we're standing in line or something. And other than that, we will see you all Monday. As usual, we love you all. God bless you all and be one with your spirit. And well, it doesn't matter. I don't observe holidays. Be here regardless. So you all have a good night. We will see you Monday.